follow-up to the X350. I had issues before, if you saw my previous video. Well, the issue was the motors. I had 3 motors that were bad. These guys here. So I replaced all 3 of the motors, and she is working 100% fine right now. But I will say this, before she was working 100% fine, I was having an issue. I had all my motors hooked up, giving it power, everything was working great, but when I gave it full throttle, it would pull the entire quadcopter. When you give it full throttle, going for a straight lift, it would pull to the right. And when it pulled to the right, no matter how I trimmed it, there was no way I could fix it. It just kept pulling to the right, to the point where I almost crashed it twice. It was like once it pulled to the right, I felt like I almost lost control over the quadcopter. And that was very frustrating. I was thinking, maybe, what's going on? How come it's not working? Every time I'm giving it throttle, it's pulling to the right. I did a calibration on it that was in the manual. It still did the exact same thing. I also did a hover calibration that's also in the manual, and it was still doing the exact same thing. Well, guys, call me stupid, because the problem of why it was pulling to the left, actually, not the right. I didn't have the screws on my motors tight. They were in there, but they were really, really loose. So when these bad boys was pulling the power, it was actually pulling it to one side because it was so loose. And I know that sounds like a real stupid thing to not have done, but that was the reason why it was pulling to the left. So I went in and I made sure all my bolts was as tight as I possibly could get them, and now it's working 100% fine.